Oh,
Um,
100% in rowing. I mean, and I think that I have been there and I have been too far. Like, there is such a thing as too far, and I've done that on multiple occasions where I think one of the exciting things I found when I was first rowing was this sense of like pushing my barriers. And when I was training at Princeton that first year, especially during the winter, once a week we would have like a very hard workout. And I every week you would hit up against that barrier, which is the limit of what you are capable of, and you would push it a little further. And I think there was a glorification of like how far can you push yourself, and like the more you can push yourself, the better you are. But I think that what I discovered is actually there is such a thing as too far. And when I was rowing my first year, I would do those workouts and I would push myself as hard as I possibly could. And I would get sick. I would finish the workout, I would throw up, I would be lying on the floor for like 20 minutes, like in a daze, like barely aware of my surroundings.
wow.
And I would tell myself, like, that was so painful. I will never do that again. I will never do that again. And then I would come back the next week and I would do it again and I would do it again. And I think there can be maybe a desire for people to glorify that kind of behavior and be like, wow, you must be so good because you're like pushing yourself to sickness every week. But actually in the long term that wasn't good for me, and I ended up in the hospital, and it was
Oh.
it was dangerous, and I was in kidney, they were worried I was going into kidney failure. And so I think one of the messages I also want to get out there is like there is such a thing as too far.